So, ladies and gentlemen, here's the letter. Greetings. Thank you for taking the time to read my letter. I really appreciate it. My name is Nisin R. Lopez. I'm a 42-year-old Cuban-American artist based in Miami, Florida. I am a U.S. citizen. I am contacting you in order to denounce a hideous crime that is being perpetrated against me here in the United States. I'm talking about contract stalking sponsored by governmental institutions. Yes, I am a targeted individual. I've been experiencing covert harassment sponsored by the authorities since January of 2011. This thing ruined my life. You might be saying to yourself, what exactly is organized stalking, right? Well, this is not easy to explain. One could say that contract stalking is bullying on steroids. Organized stalking, covert harassment, or community-based mobbing is pretty much a form of political repression, extrajudicial punishment. Organized stalking is a secret program of the United States government designed to destroy targeted individuals emotionally and psychologically through dark neurolinguistic programming and negative aversive stimuli. We're talking here about state-sponsored psychological terrorism in the name of social engineering. And before I continue, yes, I know there are good people in the FBI, of course. Yes, there are good people working in the fusion centers. Yes, there are good people in the police. I understand this. But the bottom line is, the government is behind the targeted individual program and they are destroying lives, no question about it. As far as the organized harassment done to me every single time I go out into the general public, the unjust systematic harassment is done by a group of people in an organized fashion using unethical means to torment, preoccupy, agitate, intimidate, and terrorize the isolated victim 24/7 no matter where he goes, Community-based mobbing done by civilians. Some people call this community-oriented policing. The targeted individual is exposed to a stressor outside the range of usual human experience. He is terrorized 365 days a year, 24/7, until he finally breaks down after years of indescribable psychological abuse. Most victims of this program end up homeless, in jail, or in psychiatric institutions, discredited with no support system, broken in spirit, totally destroyed. Once a targeted individual is labeled as mentally unfit, his credibility is out of the window. Overall, organized stalking is a secret, illegal, long-term, unconstitutional program designed to neutralize politically incorrect freethinkers that are labeled as undesirables, even if they are innocent, harmless, law-abiding citizens that pose no real threat to anyone. So who are the perps, recruited by the authorities, that constantly harass the targeted individual in an organized fashion? They are called surveillance role players or citizens on patrol. They believe they are patriots and heroes, serving a noble cause. They come from all types of social backgrounds. We're talking here about men, women, old, young, rich, poor, etc. These people are brainwashed into believing that the target is a really bad person, a terrorist, a murderer, or a sex offender, like a rapist or a child molester. We're talking here about a professional character assassination campaign, a clandestine civil military operation, basically law enforcement and the intelligence community using the civilian sector as irregular forces. Keep in mind that the targeted individual is also subjected to directed energy weapons, and other forms of psychological torture that are based on DNA profiling. The frequency of the target's DNA is used to fine-tune their technology. In our modern days, the government has access to a sophisticated wireless technology known as transcranial stimulation. This secret technology enables the guys in fusion centers, for example, to insert thoughts, words, phrases, images, impulses, dream videos, etc. into the target's psyche, especially if the highly traumatized victim is in an altered state. We're talking here about synthetic telepathy, you know, pretty much, a system of neurocognitive warfare, trauma-based mind control. All the experiences of the TI are stored in a supercomputer that predicts behavior based on past choices. The computer literally resonates with the biofrequency of the target. We're talking here about a reverse engineering behavioral modification program, a military experiment, non-therapeutic, non-consensual human experimentation. They collected my DNA on September 26, 2009, after I slept with a woman in her 40s. They were already monitoring me at that time. She kept the condom with my DNA in it. You know, I thought, that she was gonna plant it, that she was gonna try to plant it in a crime scene or something. Why would she do that? I'm not a celebrity or anything. So, but now I know, that they needed my DNA in order to link my unique brain signature to their supercomputer, integration completion. So, on one hand, we got heavy, overwhelming, multi-layered harassment. Then trauma-based mind control technology capable of depriving a person of sleep, a perfected breakdown tactic on the human will. So who is behind this? Answer. Corrupt folks that work for the government. The FBI is behind this. The folks in fusion centers are behind this. The local police is involved, of course. All the institutions of state are complicit in this insane covert harassment thing known as organized talking. Not so long ago, the State Department spokeswoman Elizabeth Trude acknowledged that the Russian intelligence was using unethical means in order to harass U.S. diplomats in Russia. Not so long ago, mainstream media legitimized the experience of the U.S. diplomats in Cuba and in China who experienced sonic attacks, microwave weapons. But if I say that I am being unjustly and systematically harassed in America, by people who work for the government, then I am delusional, and I'm paranoid, I'm a conspiracy theorist, right? So, my dear friend, basically, I am contacting you to see if you can help me expose these domestic terrorists who are behind the targeted individual program. I want tranquility. I want peace. I want these corrupt people to leave me alone. Is that too much to ask? You know, please help me so that these people in positions of authority will stop torturing me with this sick, evil program. They are killing me in slow motion. I mean, my life has been destroyed. They destroyed my mental health with this organized harassment program. I would like to respectfully clarify. I am not trying to insult you. I am not trying to demonize the government. I am very grateful that I have been given the great opportunity to come to America. I'm very proud of the American flag. I just want these corrupt, evil people in positions of authority to stop harassing me. I am not a criminal. I am not a serial killer, and I am not a sex offender. I'm an artist. Yes, I listen to death metal. Yes, I watch horror films sometimes. Yes, I like controversial literature, but I am not a threat to public safety. These folks in law enforcement that are recruiting civilians in order to harass me are spreading a false narrative so that people will hate me. They've been doing this since January of 2011. I ask you the following. How would you feel if you would know that corrupt people in the police are going around in your neighborhood telling people that you're a terrorist or a serial killer? How would you feel if you would know that corrupt people in the police are going around telling people that you're a rapist or a child molester? A defamation campaign. This is how they recruit citizens on patrol that would be willing to mess with you every time you are in the general public. I'm talking here about street theater, noise campaigns, acts of provocation, mimicking, rude behavior, invasion of space, engineered collisions, orchestrated synchronicities, entrapment, electronic harassment, etc. This is the kind of thing I've been experiencing since January 2011 until now. We're in 2018.